Why do people like Paul Golding and Tommy Robinson feel the need to, grift in the first place? Well, that's all about their own personal enrichment. But why do they feel the need to secrete these donations in foreign bank accounts, particularly in the case of Russian bank accounts, which Jayda Fransen has confirmed she has absolutely no doubt at all did happen? Yes? Well, that allegation is well over 2 years old. In actual fact, it's been in the public domain for that long, and that Golding advised Tommy Robinson how to do the same, using the same procedure, no doubt. So Keir Starmer instructed MI5 last year after the Southport riots to investigate Tommy Robinson financial dealings in the Russian Federation. So we have to ask now, where's the National Crime Agency investigation into Paul Golding and his financial dealings in Russia? Because, okay, MI5 is one thing, but, they have no powers of arrest. So we would have to assume that the NCA or Special Branch would actually carry out the arrests or even counter-terrorism. So we want these matters thoroughly investigated, which is only right and proper, isn't it, before the law? Unless, of course, two-tier justice goes as far as allowing them to grift and stash money in Russian bank accounts and American bank accounts, and goodness knows where else they've stashed these monies.
From Daily Agenda. Now, this is a bit more of a serious issue. He wants to know whether Paul Golding allegedly embezzlement of grifting funds into Russian bank accounts. Now, this has come up quite a lot when asked if anybody's got any questions. So, Daily Agenda, he's told me to ask this about 4 times. I'm like, I will ask it.
Okay.
So, it's alleged that he told Tommy Robinson to do the same thing as well. What's your take on it?
Well, it would be a take because this didn't happen while I was in the movement. But I saw. Let me just make something very clear. I don't follow what these people are doing because, first of all, I am kind of in different circles to the circles that these people move in. Even though I would class myself as actually right wing, I don't believe that these people are actually right wing. I don't. I think that I think some of them are grifting, some of them are civic nationalists, which doesn't align with traditional conservative right wing agendas. But in any event, all of these strange goings on, like the Russian stuff, I heard about this after the event because I don't see what they're doing. But somebody showed me a while ago that apparently they'd been out to Russia, and I can only say I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. Somebody came to me with this information and said, "Do you believe it to be true?" I absolutely believe it to be true. It's only my belief, and I wouldn't even bother going down the rabbit hole because there are far more obvious things that you can nail them on that they've done and they've admitted to doing openly. But if you're asking me, do I believe that they have embezzled money or that there's money being pugged up in foreign accounts? Yes, absolutely. And I don't think they've necessarily even made a secret about that. I think that they've been quite open about, certainly in America, trying to open accounts. So,
okay,
yeah.
So you obviously had your issues within the Britain First movement, which resulted in the spell in prison.
Make a joke about informants, but let's just call a spade whilst we're doing this. Right? Yeah. Back in, I think it was 2015 or 2016, I was involved with Britain First. Tommy Robinson got in touch with us. Jim Dawson was in England. I was living in England at the time as well with Paul. And Tommy Robinson said he wanted a meeting. And we met at a pub. I forget the name of this pub, but it was in Bedfordshire. And Tommy Robinson turned up. As sure as I am sitting here on this camera, Tommy Robinson turned up, sat at this bench in a beer garden of this pub. Jim Dawson's there with a colleague of his from Northern Ireland. I'm sitting here. Golding is there. Tommy Robinson turns up with this fella. I say, all right, who's your mate? He says, oh, this is Dave. This is the guy that works for Special Branch that came to see me every single day when I was in jail, and he wanted to meet you. So let's not get down the road of informants, right? Because I know you made a laugh about it and you make a joke about it. But these people sold the jersey a long time ago. Hitler. And there are a number of people who are senior in the BNP who can attest to this because they've seen it. It hasn't been published, of course. but they've read it. And there's a book that exists that Paul Golding has written praising Hitler. And when Paul Golding lived in my house, before I was incarcerated, he used to stay in the living room. We weren't a couple at this point. We stayed in the living room. I lived on the top floor. I had a bedroom that I slept in, and he was there with his security. And he would sit on the sofa every morning eating shreddies that he'd warmed up in the microwave in his underpants, watching videos of Hitler screaming. And Paul Golding doesn't speak German, by the way. He has learned how to say that he is the leader of a British National Party because he likes to use the word Führer, and he did that when we were in Germany. It was the only bit of German that he's learned. He doesn't know what Hitler's saying. He would sit every single morning and watch videos of Hitler just ranting, and he would say that he did that. And I'd say to him, like, what? I'd come downstairs into my living room, and this man is sitting and watching Hitler. And I would, in a few choice words, ask what the F he was doing. And he would say that is going to be me one day. So
it should be noted after this latest interview with Jayda Fransen that in 2017 I accused Tommy Robinson of working cap in glove with Special Branch. Well, she's confirmed it. Having received a number of particularly unpleasant death threats against myself and my mother, and also a further rape threat against my former fiancée, Elizabeth Brown, they gloried in it. This is Tommy's fanboys, and of course Paul Golding's fanboys joined in as well. They gloried in saying that the police won't do anything against us, basically, because they hate you and they want you, and nothing's ever going to happen to us. And I think we've seen now perfectly clearly in this great interview with Jayda Fransen, in actual fact, the very reason why they were so confident of being able to get away with a raft of criminal offences, because they were indeed working cap in glove with corrupt police officers. So why do people continue to worship Tommy Robinson and Paul Golding? Because they've been brainwashed and they're being fleeced for donations, which are being stashed in foreign bank accounts, including in Russia. Jayda Fransen has no doubt about this whatsoever. Embezzlement, it's a long and ongoing story with Golding and Tommy Robinson, in actual fact, and their fanboys. It's largely just a criminal operation, hence the reason for the death threats. Anybody who refuses to worship at the altar of their grandiose narcissism is basically an enemy, someone who has to be attacked and destroyed. Totally failed to do it to me. I've absolutely no doubt, based on the smears spat against Mark Heath, conducting this interview and promoting it on social media, well, that's entirely in keeping with everything that I've seen before with these people. And I've no doubt whatsoever, and I spoke to him earlier, that he'll get even more of it. And we'll do whatever we can to defend him, because we're working towards the same objective, and that is to purge nationalism of all of these conmen and these fraudsters. And we don't want their dirty, filthy tricks and what Jayda Fransen calls degenerate behaviour. Nationalists must make it abundantly, unequivocally clear to everyone that degeneracy of any description will not be tolerated. And that's why we have a zero tolerance policy on Paul Golding and Tommy Robinson.